I just have a couple questions. First of all, for Mr. Martin. Again, thanks for being here, Larry. Part of your testimony dealt with this, and so I wanted to segue into that subject a little deeper. Many water users are concerned that increased requirements coming from this new WOTUS rule will lead to greater permitting costs and delays. Could you detail how irrigation districts you work with are preparing for this regulation and what challenges that they will face in planning future water projects?
Frankly, Congressman, they're very scared of the rule. They have to do work on their canals and ditches on a daily basis to keep the waters flowing to their farmers. I told you about the experience that we experienced a few years ago where it took us over 4 years just to determine whether a permit was needed on routine work on a ditch. If we had to do that on a daily basis, we would not be able to undertake any tasks on those ditches or canals.
This WOTUS rule, the Clean Water, as it was billed as a clarification of the Clean Water Act. Many organizations and businesses, I think, suggest otherwise. Could you help us understand some of the contradictions that are found in this lengthy, burdensome regulation?
Our organization has gone through that rule numerous times by numerous people around the country. And the problem that we find is we see that there's a difference between ditches and canals. It's difficult to determine which ditches and canals are exempt or not exempt. There's exemptions to the exemptions. It's difficult to understand what is meant by adjacent. The term navigable has been taken out of the Act completely and is no longer in the rule. It's difficult to determine what's a tributary, what's not a tributary, and trying to explain a significant nexus to a farmer and whether his pond has a significant nexus to the Yakima River is pretty much impossible to do. We're all for clarification. We're all for clean lines to determine what's under the rule and what's not under the rule. Unfortunately, this rule doesn't do it.
As you know, I worked with Congressman Reichert to introduce H.R. 4686, which is a continuation of the Yakima River Basin Enhancement Project, or as you referred to, it's hard to pronounce, but the YARBWEP project. In my estimation, this is a model for the nation on how local stakeholders can come together to advance important priorities. Could you discuss the importance of this plan to the region and specifically how it will address the continuing drought situations that we face and what other benefits that we could see in the agriculture community?
We believe the integrated plan, which is presently before the Yakima Basin, is not only both innovative but groundbreaking. It brings together irrigation interests, the state, the federal government, tribal interests, and environmental groups, all with a unified plan, which they must all move together to benefit everybody. This will provide additional storage for irrigation. It will provide additional water for fish and wildlife. Provides additional lands for natural resources, and this plan is being supported by the broad spectrum. Part of that whole plan is also conservation, and that's where my client, the Sunnyside Valley Irrigation District, fits in. They've been doing their conservation now for about 10 years, and that returns a large chunk of water to a very crucial reach of the Yakima River for fish and environmental benefits, at the same time improving the efficiencies to their farmers and members.
Very good. Thank you very much. And Mr. Chairman, with that,